Welcome. In this video we're going to be looking at how to make this 4x4 floral granny square. It's the same pattern, and as you can see on some of them I've changed colour to make them look like these flowers. So I've used Stylecraft Special DK acrylic yarn, and I've used Toy for the centre of the flowers, Vintage Peach for the petals, or Pale Rose. I've got Stone for this main square on my scrap yarn blanket and the joining colour, and then I've used this Pistachio and Meadow on these squares and just changed colour after each round. So let's get started, shall we? Oh, here quickly, here's the blanket that I'm making. See? There we go. Right, so we're going to start with a double magic circle. I'm using the Pale Rose and a 4mm hook. And chain one. So for round one, get that out of the way. So for round one, we're going to make 12 US doubles, UK trebles into that magic circle. So make your first stitch however you like to make your first starting stitch, and then make 11 more. 11 USD double crochets, UK treble crochets. So I think that's my last stitch there. I'm just going to leave that half done while I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to tighten up the circle now. Pull the tail. See which one tightens first. Pull that one tight. Then pull the tail. There we go. Let's take that out of the way. Finish the stitch and then slip stitch across to finish round one. Oops. So for round two, we're going to make 12 cluster stitches, one in each of these stitches, and we're going to make the clusters 2 stitches with US double crochets, UK treble crochet. So I'm going to just chain 2 to start round 2, and then I'm going to go into that stitch to make my first cluster, and that's 2 US doubles, UK trebles together, and then we chain 1, and that's our repeat all the way around so that we have 12 cluster stitches, and I'll see you back at the end of the round. So I'm just coming up to the end of that second round. I've just got one more cluster stitch to make in there. And chain 1, and then you're going to slip stitch across into the first stitch, and then slip stitch into the chain space, and that's the end of round 2. So round 3, we're going to start making the square, and we're also, if you're changing colour, this is going to be your leaves. Yeah, so you're going to change to a green colour now. So to start, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to make a US single, UK double in that chain space. Chain 2. We're going to skip the first cluster and then work into the second cluster. We're going to make a cluster, 2 stitch cluster with US doubles, UK trebles. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make a second cluster in that same stitch. Chain 2. So that's our repeat, that's our first corner made, and we're going to skip the next chain space and work into the next one. Yeah, we're going to make a US single, UK double, chain 2, and we're going to make the next corner, the second corner. So we'll skip that cluster and work into this cluster. We're going to make a 2-stitch cluster, chain 3, and then another 2-stitch cluster, chain 2. We're going to skip that chain space and work into the next one, US single, UK double, chain 2, and we're going to make the third corner. So we're going to skip the first cluster and then work into the next one. We're going to make a 2-stitch cluster, chain 3, and then another 2-stitch cluster. Chain 2, skip the first chain space, work into the next one, a US single, UK double, chain 2, and we're going to make the last corner now. So we're going to skip that first cluster and go into the next with a cluster, chain 3, and another cluster. Oops. And then going to chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch. We should be at the start now. We're going to slip stitch into that first stitch, slip stitch across into the chain space, and that's round 3. So round 4, if you're changing colour, you're going to use a green, the second green colour. And this last round is just like a granny square. So we're going to make our granny stitches in these spaces, yeah? So we're going to start off by chain 1 and then make your first US double, UK treble, and then we'll make a second one. We'll make that third stitch when we come back round. Yeah, so we're going to then hop across to the corner. We're going to make 3 US doubles, UK trebles. We're going to chain 2 and then 3 more stitches in that same corner space. We're then going to hop across to the next chain space and make 3 stitches, US doubles, UK trebles. Into the next chain space, 3 stitches, and that's our repeat. We're going to go round all the way, 3 stitches in each chain space, and then the corners of 3 stitches, chain 2, 3 stitches, and I'll see you in the next video.